Yay, we're live. We're live. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Morning, Emma. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be with you here today.
It's for
All all the way from where are you? Are you in Manhattan or Brooklyn today?
Brooklyn.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to share with everyone all the amazing things that you're doing. Like when I think about you, I just get so excited because
Thank
you've done some amazing things over the past 3 years, and longer probably, but you know, uh, during some of the most difficult years of globally, you have like created such an amazing business, and it's just continuing to grow and evolve and expand. And I'm just so excited for you to share that with everyone. So why don't you tell us a bit about who you are and tell us a bit about your businesses and some of the things that you have in the works.
Okay, sure. So my name is Emily. I came to America when I was 18 years old. I went to a culinary school, and after graduation, I started my first business called Mala Project, which is a Sichuanese restaurant in Manhattan. And I was 22 years old, didn't know a lot, but had a lot of passion. So we started our brand in Manhattan, and that was about 7 years ago. And since then, we've grown into now we're working on the fifth location. And we're also growing our brand into a franchise model, so that we can take it to the West Coast and all over the country. And meanwhile, on the side, we're also building a jazz bar. So I'm all in on this hospitality journey. Um, but yeah, that's an
Mm,
overview.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're all in on the hospitality journey, but I actually think you have a bigger vision than just hospitality, because I know, like with all of my clients, there's a strong burning desire to impact and create community and lead. And you have a vision for how you want to change the hospitality industry, right? So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the hospitality industry is not a for the employees, it's not a very sexy industry. I think from the outside, people look at restaurant owners or like a cafe owner, it's very glamorized. But when you actually work in those conditions, for a lot of my staff, for example, it's not a very good um, career path, so to speak. And for a lot of people, they use um, this career kind of like a jumping board to their acting career, or their maybe there's like a sales career. And I I don't necessarily, definitely, coming from the background of working in the kitchen, having done every single position in a restaurant you can imagine. I've cleaned the toilets. I've like unclogged drains. It's So I can definitely relate to um, the industry workers, and I wanna change the way that we're treating our employees. And I don't think, I mean, I think, it's hospitality, it's a profession, it's an art of working with people, bringing smiles to people. And it's actually, if you look at the restaurant, we're actually, we're really creating magic. We're bringing food to the table. We're bringing this like beautiful cocktail, and people are celebrating and laughing. It's such a magical place. So what I'm trying to do here with our brand, and by building our platform, so like through expansion, so that we can create more jobs, expanding our team. I want to just provide the training programs that other professions get. So like trainings on communication, psychology, posture, mental health, and meanwhile, providing just like a quality of life. So that's the goal. And obviously it's a lot of work. I'm not nowhere I can do it myself, but at least that's what we're trying to do here.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't, just because you're working in the restaurant and your paycheck depends on tips a lot, it doesn't mean that you cannot enjoy the quality of life.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you want to create a beautiful experience for your customers, the people that come to your restaurants. But you also want the people that are working there to have a good experience and enjoy, what it is that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's interesting because, in some countries, like it's an honor to be, working in the hospitality industry and, as a server. And I know like in Italy, like that's a profession, right? Like they look at it and they have a very different mindset around it.
Mhm.
But I love how you're just taking that to the next level. It's not just about the mindset, it's about the experience, and it's about ensuring that people are having fun and they like being there and they want to be there, and they're, you're bringing the wellness factor into it as well. Right. So it's a really beautiful vision. And like any vision, we're visionaries, and we need people to, come in and support us in making our visions a reality. And I know that you're in the process of doing that. So it's really, really, really exciting. So exciting. So some people may say, okay, she was already doing okay, right? Why coaching? Why, like, sounds like she was doing pretty good. Why would she need a coach?
No, so I actually I met you, Cheryl. We around last summer, so a little over a year ago, and that was probably the lowest point for me. Fresh out of pandemic, I think work was going well, and we actually did a lot better during, because of pandemic, that our business actually bloomed. So work was fine, but for me personally, I was just really lost in terms of I didn't really know what I wanted to achieve in life. I didn't really know what kind of person I am. So really frustrating. And that's why I decided to just go on the internet and search for a coach. I was very aware that I needed mentorship and guidance.
Mm.
Yeah, and after a little over a year, I'm a different person. I mean, I think a lot of people, like, people will have different ideas of what that means when you say, "Oh, I'm a different person than maybe 5 years ago." I really am a different person. I think you can probably um, I think differently, and I look at myself differently, and I look at the world differently too. And that shows up in the way I do things and the way I work.
Mm. Yeah, like, I mean, it's really just what I'm hearing is I've shifted my perspective on my view, my view of myself
Mm.
and my view of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I remember the very first questions that you asked me when after I set my goals, and you said, "Where's your money go?" And I was like, "What? I don't want to talk about money." And that was the very first time anyone had asked me and challenged me about, like, what about your financial goal for your business? I was so uncomfortable about that topic. I didn't even set a financial goal for my business. I just forgot.
Wow. That's so interesting, right? Because, like, if we don't have a financial goal, how do we know where we're going? How do we know where we want to get to? But it is true. Like, so many people you know, have their money programs, or their, you know, it's not cool to talk about money. Money's, you know, evil. Money's this. Like, we all have different perspectives about money based on how, you know, what we learned growing up. And so it tends to be like a taboo subject for a lot of people, right? And it's not even really about the money, is it? It's really the money is the byproduct of everything that we do. So it's really about, you know, like for me, the more people I impact, the more money I make, right? Am I doing it for the money, or am I doing it to, you know, for the love of impacting others and helping them grow? You know, the money is nice. I like it. I'm not going to say I don't like it. Of course I do. But what really drives me is not the money. It's the impact, right?
Yeah.
And so, but sometimes it's easier to measure by the money, right? Okay, if I have this financial goal, that means I've done this. That means, you know, we've grown exponentially or whatever. And so that's maybe how you can, you know, connect it a little easier, just by having that financial goal as well. But you know, it's really about thinking about, if I, you know, hit this level financially, what does that mean? What have I done? And what have I grown?
Yeah, and I mean, you're so right. Money is a good measurement, and it's so concrete. It's like 100 versus 1,000, right? And another example that, like a story that happened, is when we were trying to raise for the jazz bar, and I remember coming to you and I said, like, okay, usually previously with Mala project, I never really had to raise, because people, you know, our customers or friends, they hear about the business, they want to invest in us. It was very easy to expand. But with the jazz bar, it's a brand new concept, and this is the first time I have to go out and like look for investors. And I told you, I don't know how to. I forgot what I said, but something like, I don't know how to raise money. And then you said, what if you just decided you are good at raising money? And that was a really big like light bulb moment. And that changed my identity. And I said, okay, cool. So I guess now I'm good at raising money. Let's see what we can do. And then you gave me these really practical tools, and you said, okay, so tomorrow, who are the 6 people that you can call? And it was that simple. And I just wrote down those 6 names, and I sat on the couch, I texted them, those 6 people, and in 20 days we raised $1 million. So that was really crazy. And like, if I hear the story from other people, I would think that's interesting. Like, I don't know if I can do that. But it happened on me. So yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, how it wasn't that long, right? It was just like a couple of days.
It was like 20 days.
20 days. Okay. But what I love about what you just said is, you had a limiting belief. I'm not good at raising money.
Mm-hmm.
And all we did was help you shift your belief around it.
Yeah.
And by shifting your belief around it and taking inspired action, you were not only able to raise the $1 million. I think you got more.
Yeah, we ended up getting more.
So if you go back to that limiting belief, I'm not good at raising money, is it true?
No, I mean, now I know. It's so simple, right? It looks so easy. Of course it's not true. We were in that, a couple months ago, it was harder to see.
Yeah. And that's how it is for everything. It's what we believe to be true.
Yeah.
If we believe it to be true, it is. If we decide to shift our thinking and our level of belief around it, we can change anything, really.
Yeah. But it's the identifying the paradigm or the old belief. That part is really crucial, and that needs a lot of, training and support, and like making sure, okay, somebody's got your back, and just, reminding you, oh no, that's a paradigm, or that's your limiting belief.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. Like I have mentors, we all have mentors. And the beauty of mentorship is that, you want to work with someone who's been where you are, or, knows how to do what you want to do. It's just going to help you get there faster,
Mhm.
right? It's just going to help you get there easier. And especially as entrepreneurs, we need support. We need sounding boards. We need people to, brainstorm with and bounce things off. Just, to have that, so we don't feel like we're all alone in the world doing this by ourselves, right? Yeah. Yeah. So a year ago, so again, here's where I was a year ago. Where are you now?
Um, so a year ago, I didn't really know what kind of person I was. I was definitely, although I was 29 years old already, I was, in my, what was it called, Saturn return phase. I was trying to figure out who I am and what I wanted to achieve in life, and getting very, very frustrated. The result of that is that I don't want to go to work. I kind of always finding excuses for me to not go to work. Um, and now I think after a year of really, really hard work with the program and working on myself, I'm very comfortable with myself now, and I'm everything becomes very easy. So we were talking a lot with like working with the universal law, and to me, I think that it's just, if you haven't like really studied it, obviously I'm just starting, right? So I'm still trying to understand what that means, but it has made things so much easier, um, because all I need to do is to actually, just to look at who I am and what my identity is, and then I can make my choice. I know exactly where I need to go. Um, and so now I would say, um, things have things are very easy, and, um, of course you have to work. I almost said, of course you have to work hard, but that's gonna be a paradigm that you're gonna catch. Um,
Do you have to work hard? Is
I
it
mean,
really
you have
hard?
to. I wanted to. I mean, you have to take your inspired actions, but as long as you did that, things will fall into place. So, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I don't know if it's working hard or just being committed.
Mhm.
Making a committed decision and taking inspired action. I think that's probably what you're trying to say, right? Like, you
Yeah.
know, you were committed to your growth and you really wanted to, shift your self-image and, step into the role of a leader and, an influence, to be someone who can impact and inspire others, right? And so I think it was just a matter of just being committed to your growth, and you did that. And okay, yes, it gets a little uncomfortable growth. So maybe that's where the hard part comes in. Is just you've got to be willing to get uncomfortable, right? In order to grow. But the rewards, like, what's happening for you are just so amazing. I mean, when you look at all the different areas of your life, right? Because it's not just about business. How has this work impacted all those areas of your life?
Yeah.
What
But,
what what's changed?
um, it's it's crazy because now, well, my family relationships shifted. And I mean, we were talking about, I almost said you have to work hard, but that was a paradigm. You don't have to work hard. It's very easy. It's, 6 inspired actions and you just stay committed. Um, and I stopped, worrying too much. And, my anxiety has just become so much less. So when I'm spending time with my husband, I'm not thinking about work anymore, and that shows in my how much attention I'm paying to him, and the way how much time I'm spending with my dog, and they can see that, so they're responding in the same way. Um, so it's not just showing up in work; it does show up in all the other areas. And now that you mentioned it, this is actually the first time that I'm thinking about this. In my friendship too, my best friend and I had a really big breakthrough, and I think we like unlocked things that probably haunted us for the past like 10 years, 12 years. Um, and that's all. And I would really attribute that to this work.
Wow, that's I don't
I
think
didn't even tell you about
you
that.
know, you haven't told me about that, but that's really powerful because I do believe, I mean, it is, this work affects every area of your life, your personal life, your professional life, your, career, money, health, all of it. It's because it's all connected, right? Because as you shift, how you show up in the world shifts. And then, you start to attract more of what you want versus what you don't want. So it does have a tremendous impact on your relationships overall. So it's great to hear that, things are going really well with your husband and your friends. And I'm sure it's impacted, your relationships with your employees as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're having more fun.
Yep.
We're making more money.
Yeah.
We're making a bigger impact. I mean, how much better can it get?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's just like good people, have a good time. And that's all it is. It's the same thing at work. It's the same thing in your family. So like if you set that as the goal, then really a lot of things change how you show up at work, and how you show up at in your relationship really changes.
Love it. Love it. So what would you say to somebody who's thinking about doing this work? Because we want to inspire others, right? That's
So
why.
I think for me, I just jumped in. I mean, there's nothing to lose. I don't. There is nothing to lose. Just try it, because for me, when I signed on, it was just like cool. This is the investment I'm making for myself, and I'm gonna commit to it, and let's see what happens. That was the mentality. And then 6 months later, 12 months later, you look back, you can then be the judge to say, okay, did I show up fully? I did. And did I really see a shift? Yes, I'm a complete different person. And let the future you be the judge. And right now, you just follow your gut and just go for it.
Love it. I mean, really, we are our best investments, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really. We are our best investments. And if we're willing to play full out, everything is possible. And that's kind of what's happening for you. I mean, you're just getting started. I'm just so excited. Do you have a name for the jazz bar yet?
Yes. So we call it Only Love Strangers. And it's a song by one of our favorite Chinese artists.
Only Love Strangers?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Where in Brooklyn is it going to be?
So I think it's going to be Lower East Side. We found a really good space.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the first week we started looking, it came on the market, and now we put in an offer. We've countered a couple of times, so then they know about us. So we'll see. We're waiting.
Oh, very exciting. Very exciting. And when will it open? What's the estimated opening date? In April. Oh, yeah. That's fast. Mm-hmm. Cool. Just in time for spring. Okay. So we've got 3 locations of Mala Project in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
We're in the Village.
So East Village, 53rd Street, which is Midtown East, and 46th Street and Midtown West. Awesome. And we're building one in Greenpoint that's gonna open in that's actually open probably December or next January. And the
Mhm.
fifth one is gonna be West Village, hopefully open in April as well.
Cool. Wow, you've got a lot going on. You're like opening up 3 places in the next 6 months.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
It's a good thing you're young.
I mean, I
You've got
think,
the energy.
yeah. It's not me, like I don't do, I just do my work, and the team, they do their work. Everybody just do their own work, and we can make it happen.
Well, it's teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So I was so excited for you. I cannot wait to continue to follow your journey. And thank you for sharing your story with us today, because I know somebody is watching and it's really going to inspire them
Mhm.
to, really step into their highest and best. And I cannot wait for the franchise to come, start expanding, because, in Canada, there's
Yeah.
always Canada too.
Oh, to a licensing deal in Canada.
I know that they would love the Mallow project here for sure, in Toronto for sure, for sure. So we will keep everybody posted on your journey, and can't wait to celebrate. Let's talk in another six months when those other 3 locations open and see where you're at.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks,
Right.
Emily. Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.